Hello and welcome to the Bab Clayman 1 Christmas movie review. For the small few of you who saw what I had to say on Titanic The Legend Goes On, you will know I am attempting to make video reviews. So, why not try making my second one a Christmas special? Hey, if the first proper Simpsons episode can be one, why can't my second one be? And what movie can I review for this festive season? Well, have you ever heard of Pirate's World? Santa Claus and the Ice Cream Bunny is a 1972 Christmas film in which one of the title characters appears for only 1/3 of it, and the other one doesn't show up until the last 10 minutes. It was made as part of a marketing stunt by the Florida amusement park, Pirate's World, who at the time were in very dangerous competition with Walt Disney World, which had opened up the previous year. The people at Pirate's World believed that if they made movies, visitors would want to keep coming to the park, hence keeping it alive against the Mouse Corporation. It didn't work. At the time of my research, the movie scores a low 1.4 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database, and has been ridiculed as one of the cheapest, laziest, and most pointless films of all time. But just how bad is it? Let's take a look. So the movie begins in Santa's workshop, or what it would look like if he was imprisoned in the Tower of London, where the elves are singing about Santa going missing, and despite this dire news, they all seem to be pretty happy about it. I guess they owed Santa some money, and now with him out the way, they don't have to pay it back. Their delight is however interrupted by the arrival of the reindeer, where we see global warming really kicking in hard at the North Pole, as it seems to have turned a snowy desert into the British moors. So it's now official that Santa is lost somewhere, and the North Pole is melting all around them. The elves' solution to this? Nothing. They just get back to work and don't even bother to send any kind of investigation to see where in the world Santa can be. Come on, elves. At least in the Tim Allen movie you sent a team armed with jetpacks in case Santa got arrested. These elves, however... Some kids in Halloween costumes just kidnapped the Santa Claus! We'll fix it tomorrow. Santa better have a staff training day if he ever gets back, for these are the worst elves ever. But whilst his own staff doesn't seem to care where he is, we the audience are transported to a beach in Florida, where we see that Santa is stranded in the sand. We're even given a narrator who exposits everything to us at the pace of a sloth on sedatives. And I mean everything.
The long beard and the red velvet suit and the white fur, that's a lot of heavy clothing.
I'm pretty sure I didn't choose to watch this with the audio description on. The factor of a movie is that we can see what's going on. The term show don't tell is used a lot in bad movies, but in this case it's show, but you're still telling us.
And without his reindeer, because they were so hot, they took off to the North Pole.
Well, of course. I mean, he's been making this journey around the world for many, many years, and he probably visits countries like Malta or Greece or even the Virgin Isles. But no! Florida, during winter, was just too hot for them, so they decided to dump him off here and go home. Maybe my global warming theory was correct after all. I recall going to Florida for New Year's once, and I had to buy a sweater there.
By golly, it is. I have never been so hot in my life.
Also, get used to them commenting on how hot it is. Santa never allows us to forget it for a single minute. So, rather than contact his elves, Santa uses his magic hand-waving to brainwash a bunch of kids into helping him with a terrible song.
My reindeers left me sitting here. It was just too hot for them, I fear. My predicament lacks its usual cheer.
The group of children consists of such members as a girl who couldn't be bothered to get her dog a hoop, 2 boys in a domestic violence dispute, and... Okay, what the heck is this kid doing? You aren't Mary Poppins, you can break your legs doing that! Which I believe that this kid has just done. And after freezing about a dozen children in time, Santa just falls asleep. We're not even 6 minutes into this movie and the title character has joined the audience in falling asleep. We then have to go through the names of almost every child in this movie, not like anyone was asking, and it seems that 4 of the girls have parents who couldn't even be bothered to name them.
Girls, kids.
You just know that these aren't the girls or kid that Santa was specifically asking for, don't you? Still, being more reliable than elves, the children make their way through burnt-out Carland to aid Santa at Baywatch speed, along with...
Hey, Hop, where are all those kids going? I don't know, Tom. Let's go find out.
Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn? Okay, what are 2 19th century Mark Twain characters who live in a state over 100 miles away from Florida doing here? And if you're wondering like me on how they contribute to the entire thing, let me answer you in 2 words. They don't. Seriously, all these 2 do is sit there and watch from afar. They don't interact with Santa, nor with any of the children. They literally do nothing throughout the entire film. They appear for like 2 minutes at the start, and then 10 seconds at the climax. There are characters in movies where you feel if they were taken out, nothing would be changed in the grand scheme of things. But I am not lying when I say these 2 are the most pointless characters I have ever seen in a movie. They were probably 2 boys who didn't make the Beach Kids cast, so their mothers threatened the director until he gave them something to do. That's the best explanation I can give for this waste of a side story. So, Santa tells the children what the narrator told us 5 minutes ago, and with this news, the group try to think of a way to get the gift bringer back to the North Pole in time for Christmas.
Hey, Santa, why don't you take one of those planes that's circling around up there?
That might be a good idea, except what would I do with my sleigh?
Remember that part later. It will hurt. A lot. The children figure that any random animal they can find would be a just perfect substitute for 8 magic reindeer. And what is the first animal that these ordinary children are able to get their hands on? The drumming gorilla from the Cadbury chocolate adverts? This is only Plan A, and they felt Phil Collins was the best choice to pull the sleigh along. Better start paying for a beach house, Santa. With these children here, you're going to be stuck there for quite a while. They then realise that a gorilla's a stupid idea, so they get farm animals to do the job. And you know, ignoring the fact that they don't explain where the heck these kids were able to get all these animals from, it apparently seems that all those animals don't want to be there, making them the smartest characters in the movie so far. And even when they do get an animal close enough, no one seems to bother to attach them to the sleigh. The authorities take the stolen livestock back, and the children's spirits are dimmed. So, holy, what's with that girl's stare? She's gonna crawl out of the screen, isn't she? But it's up to Santa to liven us up now, so he tells them a story all about believing in oneself. And then this happens. Yes, people, I am not joking when I say they're actually putting another movie in the movie. And this isn't like a show within a show type scene, like Thunderbolt from 101 Dalmatians, or how Kiss Me Kate was set during a performance at Taming of the Shrew. They pretty much have said, did you pick this movie up to watch a story with Santa? Well, tough, you're watching this movie now instead. But there's also a problem with showing us the movie now. Santa has just told us everything that's going to happen in it. He did so on the beach.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful little girl named Thumbelina who escaped from her kidnappers. and she endured all kinds of hardships until one fine day she met her Prince Charming.
There are films which are okay with foregone conclusions, but here, Santa has just told us that everything is going to be happy in the end, with Thumbelina getting her prince. Jeez, Santa, at least give us a spoiler alert next time. The Thumbelina film even comes with its own credits, and you have to remember that Santa is telling this story to the children on the beach. Does this mean he's telling them who's starring in the movie? Who the lighting guy is, or who composed the songs? But the meta gets worse. For the story, being narrated by Santa is more about a girl going to Pirate's World to have the story of Thumbelina narrated to her by a PA system who is, spoilers, supposed to be one of the characters in the movie. We have just entered the inception of framing devices. Was it really necessary to do this? How about you edit all the Pirates World stuff out, add Santa's narration in over it, and boom, framing device fixed. Although, I guess doing that would have required an insane thing called effort, and we needed to keep those scenes in as this was one big advertisement for Pirates World, and I've got to admit that some of the rides there do look genuinely interesting. Dangerous, if not deadly, but still interesting. Anyway, back to what barely qualifies as the plot. The PA box tells us the tale of an old spinster who longs to have a little girl. She's so lonely, in fact, she's begun to talk to herself.
Day after day I put the kettle on, and no one comes to call. I know. This afternoon I'll go see the witch, and maybe she will bring me a little girl.
And as she says, the spinster goes sees the witch, as you do, where she spends 5 long minutes.
From a little seed comes a little princess. That's what magic can do.
Torturing us with terrible singing. This is just the second song, and yet it's enough to make you pine for
Marry the mole.
Spinster's in luck, however, as it seems that creating life is on offer today at only 12 pennies. Well, give Pirates World credit, their stuff is cheaper than what you can get at Disney. Although, looking at these sets, there's probably a consequence. The spinster plants the seed, and it gives birth to Thumbelina, at the age of at least 16 years, wearing an outfit that never seems to wear or tear throughout the entire movie, and is apparently fully trained in speaking.
This will do just fine.
That will make a wonderful bed.
How can you make out what it is? She's probably like a mile away in comparison to you, and even I can't make out what it is. Then again, judging by this shot, this is probably stock footage taken from the director's version of Oz. No, seriously, he made an Oz film, look it up. Thumbelina seems happy with her life, but then she suddenly goes missing, as does a couple of seconds of the film, and it's all because of...
All this time I've been doing nothing but sitting by the pad going ribbit, ribbit.
Big the cat if he did a role reversal with Froggy?
What I need is a little girl.
I shall hug her, and I shall pet her, and I shall call her George. A fish helps Thumbelina escape, however, but since the film is too cheap to show us this, they get the PA box to tell us instead. We are then introduced to... What are those supposed to be? I don't even... Seriously! Black biped creatures with an extra set of arms, striped pyjamas and... whatever those things are on their mouths, who hop along like they want to be kangaroos. When did my biology class cover this? It's implied that these... things are supposed to be insects, but your guess of which ones are as good as mine. They look like costumes rejected from the Bill Hartnell Doctor Who stories. And that Doctor faced Cybermen held together with sellotape. The... whatevers come across Thumbelina, and they call her ugly. And next scene. Once again, a scene which you could take out and nothing would have been changed in the long run.